Hey everyone, and I'm today day 3 reading the book Salon de Femme. However, I'm going to use my Kindle because it's really heavy for me to lift up and read. So today we continue from where we left off, which is fairy tales. Salon participant. In my reality, you have to worship a man, and he is the one who chooses you. As in all fairy tales, he is the one who falls in love with a woman. He is always the smartest and the brightest, and I am not worthy of that kind of man. So how can he possibly choose me? Gary. Wow, what kind of chocolate are you putting on that pile of crap? It must be some seriously good chocolate if you are buying that stuff. Salon participant. Yeah, that's why I want to clear it now. Gary, here's the process. What stupidity am I using to create the fairy tale life and living that never works am I choosing? Everything that is times godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shorts, boys and beyonds. What stupidity am I using to create the fairy tale life that and living that never works am I choosing? Everything that is times godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all line shorts, boys and beyonds. What stupidity am I using to create the fairy tale life and living that never works am I choosing? Everything that is times godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. It's like women's lib took away men's role, and fairy tales take away women's role. Fairy tales are, it's all going to work out in the end, and I will live happily ever after. How many people do you know who live happily ever after? That's not living. You can't just do happily ever after. You have to create and generate the relationship that works for you. And that's the one thing most of us are never taught. This is the place we want to get to. A place where you can create and generate what works for you. I'll be talking more about this as we get further along. But first, I need to get some charge of you guys as you're locked in cages. You talk about women being a burden and being locked in a cage, and that's pretty much the way you try to function when you're functioning from this reality's point of view about male and female. Everything that is times godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Salon participant. If women are ingrained with the point of view, someday my prince will come, then what are men taught or ingrained with as far as choosing a relationship or a mate? Gary, first of all, the man is not taught to choose a relationship. He is taught to choose for sex, because his job is to provide the seed of the next generation. Salon participant. What about find a good woman and settle down? What's that? Gary, are you from the 1950s? Salon participant, yes. Gary, okay, good. Because in the 1950s, that was the point of view. Salon participant, oh, so you don't think that exists anymore? Gary, I know it doesn't exist. I grew up in the 1950s and I saw people sowing their wild oats, getting married and having kids. Then they got divorced. Kids, wives and husbands, all were miserable. Nobody was happy. Where was the happily ever after? Happily ever after doesn't occur unless you're willing to become pragmatic about your choices. I noticed that in any age group, people would choose to have a great relationship, but they would not look at the person they were with to see whether that person wanted the same thing as they did. Pragmatic feminism is recognizing what you truly would like to have and being willing to create that even though it doesn't fit anybody else's reality. Everything that brought up for everyone times godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. The messed reality is created with the idea that there is something right about it. We are supposed to be subjected to it and live for it. Messed is matter, energy, space and time reality. What stupidity are you using to create you as the concubines of messed reality, physical reality, and psychological insanity are you choosing? Everything that is times godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What stupidity are you using to create you as the concubines of messed reality, physical reality, and psychological insanity are you choosing? Everything that is times Godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right or wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What stupidity are you using to create you as the concubines of messed reality, physical reality, and psychological insanity are you choosing? Everything that is times Godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What stupidity are you using to create the feeling of conflict between male and female are you choosing? Everything that is times Godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What stupidity are you using to create the feeling of conflict between male and female are you choosing? Everything that is times Godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What stupidity are you using to create the feeling of conflict between male and female are you choosing? Everything that is times Godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. If you guys have any questions, just feel free to comment below and I will respond to those questions. And if I don't respond to them in today's reading, I'll respond to them next time because the comments don't always appear on my screen very fast. The war between men and women. One of the reasons the conflict between masculine and feminine or between the sexes has been created is to produce powerless people. It's a way to keep everyone powerless. If you were willing to be everything that you are as a man or a woman, nobody would be powerless. And being powerless is not in anybody's best interest. Yet how many of you have noticed that you feel powerless in front of certain kinds of men or certain kinds of women? What stupidity are you using to create the powerlessness of men and women are you choosing? Everything that is times Godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What stupidity are you using to create the powerlessness of men and women are you choosing? Everything that is times Godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What stupidity are you using to create the powerlessness of men and women are you choosing? Everything that is times Godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Salon participant. Is this conflict creating the war on the planet? Gary. Yeah, and it's certainly creating war between men and women. Women tell men things that make the men feel powerless, and men tell women things that make the women feel powerless. Early on in my first marriage, I had a 6-month-old baby and a wife in the house, and a guy came to visit that I hadn't seen in years. He told me he was wanted by the police for having hired the Mexican mafia to kill his brother so he could inherit all the money in his family. Then he invited me out for dinner. I immediately knew I needed to get rid of him. I said, I really don't want to go for dinner, but you're welcome to use my car. I knew if I gave him my $2,000 car that he would go away. And from my point of view, that was much better than having a guy who was willing to kill stay in the house with me, my wife and child. My wife went ballistic on me. She said, you are a coward. You're no good and useless. I hate you. She could not see from my point of view how you get a killer out of your house without being killed. I'm more pragmatic than confrontational. Everything that is times Godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Creating and generating your life. Salon participant. We were to stop referring to ourselves as women or men, and we began to see men and women as infinite beings, even if they were not behaving that way. How would that change that dynamics if we were? Yeah. Gary. Well, you can still refer to yourself as a woman or man. It's not bad. It's not about eliminating the referral point, it's about recognizing that this other person is an infinite being and looking at whether this infinite being is functioning in a way that is going to expand his or her life and yours. Most of you choose people who you can control, or people you think can control you, or people you think are going to make you feel or look better for some reason. You choose an operative state of living as though it is going to create and generate what you desire. It doesn't. An operative state of living can only institute what already exists. All operative states are ways we create autopilots that seem like they're going to work. When you are in an operative state, you're not operating on an aware level. You're operating on autopilot. Salon participant, how do we get rid of these operative states? What questions do we ask? What do we have to be? Gary, you have to be pragmatic. Salon participant, what's pragmatic? I've never been pragmatic in my life. Gary, yes you have. It's being practical. You are always pragmatic about making sure you make money. Salon participant, yes, that's the place I'm not bored. I love money, I love my body, and I love nature. I'm bored with everything else. Gary, you're not creating and generating your life. You're living and instituting the operative state of life and living you are choosing. You already have everything handled from your point of view. Of course you are bored. You're not going beyond to a different reality. Salon participant, okay, how, when, where, what, please. Gary, it's not what, where, when, how. It's I would not choose this for what reason. Salon participant, I've been asking this question. Gary, have you asked what can I choose beyond boredom? Wow. Oh my God, this is so apt for me right now. Salon participant, wow, that one I haven't asked. Gary, you're bored, so choose beyond boredom. If you are in a bad relationship, ask, who can I choose so I'm not bored in this relationship anymore? If you're bored in your life, ask, what can I choose beyond boredom? Salon participant, I'm lightened a whole lot, Gary. Gary, good. That's why I gave it to you. Salon participant, I love you, Gary. Thank you. Gary, what stupidity are you using to create the operative state of life and living are you choosing? Everything that is times Godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What stupidity are you using to create the operative state of life and living are you choosing? Everything that is times Godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. When something keeps showing up again and again, you have to go to what operative state am I trying to live by? When you're doing it's not working, I'm not happy with it, I would really like something different, but I can't seem to choose anything different. You have to realize that this is an operative state of living. It's not that you can't choose something different, it's that you won't. What stupidity are you using to create the operative state of life and living are you choosing? Everything that is times Godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What stupidity are you using to create the operative state of life and living are you choosing? Everything that is times Godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. The operative state is to get to death as soon as possible by having a couple of affairs on the way there. Everything that is times Godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Hey guys, thank you for listening to me. I'm going to end here and we will continue next time. Thanks for watching with me. Bye.